Tennessee Titans fans, we are back at it once more. Going back and checking out a clip from Undisputed when the Titans fired Mike Vrabel. And don't get it twisted, guys. This is not an anti-Vrabel channel or podcast, okay? What this is a very pro-Tennessee Titans pod and channel, okay? And we're not going to tolerate unnecessary slander because y'all don't know nothing about these Titans and just make stuff up. Do it.
I was very surprised. It's so amazing. We were just talking about, Mike McCarthy and where he has to go. You do know this guy in 2019 had the Tennessee Titans in a conference championship game. That was
He did?
not too long ago. I think in 2021 he won Coach of the Year. That was not too long ago.
Go look up the list of guys who won Coach of the Year. Here's where my problem lies with this. It's not that I dislike Mike Vrabel or think he's a bad coach. It's that the narrative that they push is so skewed to naturally critique and hate and disregard anything the Titans do.
And you guys knew what Tennessee was prior to him getting there. He brought such great discipline. Every time they showed up on the field, I know they've had back-to-back.
Got penalized a whole lot for a team who was disciplined.
But those back-to-back seasons coincide with you taking away his main man and sending him to Philadelphia also that I know he did not want to happen in Arthur Warren Brown. So now you start saying, right, you're taking those assets away.
How much did he not want it to happen? I don't know. But I truly don't know. But I don't know if he's as innocent as whatever.
And you're leaving him with, he had a great running back in Derrick Henry, but an okay quarterback. Mm-hmm. And then you got A.J. Brown, who went up and made plays with Ryan Tannehill. Didn't have to be perfect when you give him away. Now you don't have that. Trayvon Burks didn't work out quite like they wanted him to do in replacing Arthur Warren Brown, and things went south. Go and find him another big-time receiver. Let him help you find him another big-time receiver. But there's no way I'm letting Mike Vrabel get away. There's not one time that you saw them on a football.
Go find him another big-time receiver. Well, they went out and got Robert Woods, who at the time seemed like a big signing, and that was nothing. They went out and got DeAndre Hopkins, who had a good year, but even that didn't help Traylon be where he needed to be. I don't know how all of this... So pretty much it's amazing. Everything bad that's happened to Tennessee, Vrabel gets no blame for. Everything good that's happened with Tennessee, Vrabel gets all the credit.
Football field where they were unprepared or not ready to play. And Skip, that's what you start talking about when you start talking about a disciplined coach. Now, I can only cook with the recipe and the ingredients you give me since we're working together. But anytime you give him anything, he's cooked a pretty good meal. I was
pretty good meal. I'm sorry to keep pausing, guys, but 7-3 last year. 5-game lead in the division, 7-game losing streak, allowed the Jags to come back from the depths of nothing to come back and take the division from you. I'm sorry, is that eating good? Is that eating good? Playoff game against the Ravens at home, 4th and 1 in their territory, down by 4, and we punted. Is that eating good? Hiring certain coaches that were not qualified to be in the positions they were just because you knew them and liked them. Is that eating good? The awful offensive play that we have watched for the last couple of years, is that eating good? Is that a 5-course meal? Or is that some leftover, stale, not even McDonald's? That's some straight up Arby's. That's some Arby's roast beef sandwich that's been sitting out on the kitchen counter for 7 days.
Shocked they let Mike Vrabel go.
And I was more shocked at the comments from the owner after.
Yeah.
And that was what was most concerning to me because she said, I wasn't willing to wait in the back of the line for the right head coach. I wasn't willing. That's why they weren't willing to trade Mike Vrabel, but they weren't going forward with him at all. And that was really odd to me because it's one of those situations where you feel like the grass is greener on the other side, and I guarantee you it's likely not.
Yeah.
If you take away a team's best player, like you did with A.J. Brown.
Was Derrick Henry not there? Derrick Henry not on the team? Was Jeffrey Simmons not on the team? Hey, why didn't they trade him? Well, he hit the coaching market and nobody hired him. So who was they going to trade with? Who? I mean, it's not like, I mean, at this time, everybody just thought that the Patriots were probably ringing our phone off the hook. But, like, we know that couldn't have been true. Same for all the others.
They're going to be a worse team. And you didn't let the head coach have any say-so in that.
How do you know?
It's because you didn't want to pay him max money. He was a max receiver. That's all you.
I agree.
You got to pay for what you get.
That's all you. That has nothing to do with Vrabel. That has nothing to do with Vrabel. Vrabel just gets no credit for the things that went wrong and all the credit for anything that went right.
That changed the dynamic of the entire team. That changed the structure of the entire offense. Treylon Burks wasn't who you thought he was. So now you're punishing the head coach. You bring in a new general manager in Rand Carthon, who came from San Francisco, who's been really good and is going to be really good. But it seemed like he and Braves didn't see eye to eye on things, which is a weird dynamic between a GM and head coach when, you know, they're not married.
Yeah, they didn't see eye to eye on things. Rand Carthon wants the offense to be progressive and actually able to do what other teams do, and Vrabel wants to play football in the Stone Ages. Stop the run. Stop the run and run the football. Yeah, that's great if it's 1975.
And step and one's hired after the other or vice versa. But I think this is the wrong call.
Man,
Thank you,
I can't tell you how much I agree. I can't tell you how shocked I was about this. And to Richard's point, I will amplify because Amy Adams Strunk also said in the statement that she released, and I quote, "As the NFL continues to innovate and evolve, I believe the team's best position for sustained success will be those who empower an aligned and collaborative team across all football functions."
Richard Sherman don't know how to be collaborative. He hates everybody he ever played for or with. He got nothing good to say about Pete Carroll. He got nothing good to say about Russell Wilson. So, I mean, of course, he's sitting there thinking, like, you don't have to be collaborative. You can just show up and be a jerk to everybody. And you know, as long as you, what is it? You ever put me on somebody like Crabtree? He wasn't even willing to collaborate with a reporter.
Collaborative team. She wanted Vrabel to be a team player, as in just one of the hierarchy and the decision makers.
And so did everybody else, by the way, because who hired him? Looking for a show of hands. Who hired him? Oh. Well, that's not a red flag at all. Well, it must just be a Titans problem, is why everybody else didn't want to hire him. But if the guy doesn't want to collaborate, if the guy doesn't want to, I mean, and we know he didn't. He wanted full control of the roster. And you're telling me that's a good idea, Bill O'Brien?
On equal footing with her, and obviously, as Richard pointed out, Rand Carthon, and all the other people in the front office. And Vrabel, obviously, old school, chip off the Belichick block, didn't coach for him, but played for him, obviously.
Yeah, we know.
He's his own guy. And you want to talk about 10 toes down. His 10 toes are always down. And I don't know how much he actually clashed with Rand, but it sounded like there was some sort of power struggle internally, and that Amy Adams Strunk chose Rand Carthon over Mike Vrabel. That's what it sounds like to me. She said he doesn't want to be a team player. I'm going with Rand and the group that I have in place, and we'll fix this.
If he doesn't want to be a team player, then that's a him problem. Why are we acting like it's unreasonable for them to not want somebody on board who's not going to be a team player? Well, you want Vrabel to run the whole organization by himself? Would that make you feel better? Would that give you something to talk about? Or would you just keep talking about... I can't believe he hadn't mentioned LeBron in this segment.
This on the fly post Mike Vrabel, which was, I think it's absolutely the wrong decision.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Decision. Here again, we're talking about suits and uniforms. I don't know why they feel like they have to make a decision on what goes down on a football field. I mean, you don't even spend much time coming in the locker room. When you have a team that was set up, think about this, guys, with Derrick Henry, that beast at running back. And every time you try to come and stack the line of scrimmage to stop that, you had A.J. Brown, a beast at wide receiver. Go up and get anything, anywhere.
I agree it was stupid to trade A.J., but y'all act like y'all were just so enamored with the Titans before they traded A.J. They were the freaking number 1 seed in the playoffs, and all y'all could talk about was the Chiefs, the Bengals, the Cowboys, LeBron. Like,
to make all the mistakes don't look like mistakes that Ryan Tannehill will make. And you don't get to understand that no matter what, I'm never separating these two. These two will play together. With those two, I can put just about anybody back at quarterback. All you got to do is be able to just don't throw interceptions. But these two gives you an...
But he did, though. You don't even have to be good. But all you had to do is not throw interceptions, but he did. Did throw interceptions. Cincinnati, I'm having like war flashbacks. Like the Bengals playoff game.
Opportunity. And somehow some people wearing suits decided to break that up. That you disqualified yourself from making any more decisions when you decided to break up that right there. So just get out of the way. Stop.
The guy who made that decision got fired. The guy who made that decision got fired. He was not the one. John Robinson did not decide to fire Mike Vrabel because John Robinson is not employed by the Tennessee Titans.
Talking about a unified standing on making decisions, you disqualified yourself.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. And that's why they fired the GM. That's why they fired the GM, but that's not Vrabel's fault. He has to sit there and try to make something happen with the ingredients that he has left, and you're not giving him great ingredients. Treylon Burks, you spent the first rounder on him, wasn't what he deserves more years just because of that. You're making these decisions, and he has to live with them.
Okay, let's fast forward. We have no idea yet what Bill Belichick's fate will be in New England, but let's just say he's elsewhere next year. Do you think that Robert Kraft would jump on Mike Vrabel? That's the first question. And the second question, Michael, is do you think Vrabel would want to coach in New England with what's not left in that cupboard?
No and no. And I also don't like Skip wording it. It's like, do you think Robert Kraft would want to jump on Mike Vrabel? Skip. Say it like Shannon. Skip. That was just a bunch of nonsense. And I especially like going back and watching those clips from months ago when that stuff happened, because just to see how poorly all of it has aged. Like, oh, why didn't they trade him? Well, wasn't really a trade market for him because when he hit the coaching market, nobody hired him. You know, so it's just goofy. It's funny to go back and watch how just off target all of these takes were. And that's kind of why I'm doing this series, to kind of get us through the off season. Give me some more clips that I need to check out in the comments. I'm searching, because this is kind of a good way to get through the off season. So let me know if there's any clips from the past or whatever that you want to check out. And I appreciate everybody. Tighten up, bye.